Welcome back. So, my name is Kelly Brubaker. I am a Profit First professional, and I started a series. Now it's been 2 months. We're now in week 8, where I am giving you a glance, looking over my shoulder, how I do Profit First in my business. And so, while I don't use my spreadsheet, this is just the easiest way for me to show you on YouTube how I use Profit First in my business. So if you're just joining me and you've not seen my prior videos, you can actually go back to, week 1 if you want and see from, now I've been using Profit First for 3 years in my business, but I just started this series 2 months ago. So there's 8, this is the 8th installment that you can watch over my shoulder. And what I'm doing is showing you how the money's getting allocated into my bank accounts. So each of these rows represents a different bank account at my bank of business funds. And this hopefully will give you an overview of how this works. So the Profit First it's a cash management system based on a book written by Mike Michalowicz called Profit First. And the equivalent, the buzzword these days is cash stuffing, but using cash in a business is not really feasible in today's day and age. So while that's great that for personal finance, many people are using cash stuffing, Mike took the envelope method and instead of using cash in envelopes, he updated it to the 21st century for businesses. And we use each envelope now is a bank account. So I've already updated my spreadsheet. I pulled my bank balance. So I did allocations last Monday, and I took the ending balances after allocations and put them in this column here. So this is my bank money before any allocations. The percentages of how I'm allocating all of this, that's something that's talked about in the book. And then I also have a podcast episode where I talk about how I came up with these numbers. So if you're interested, I'll try to link those below. Each account has a purpose, and by doing these allocations, I'm saying that I have this much money set aside. So I have $1,653.91 set aside for my profit, and profits paid out every quarter, every calendar quarter. And this is now, today is September 11th, and September 30th so whatever the allocation is after September 30th is when I'm going to take this money out. And this is my bonus of being a business owner. Okay. So let's do my allocations for this week. So week 8, last week's deposits, last week was a slow week. I only had $975 come in, and you'll see how I already have this spreadsheet set up to calculate what my allocations were. And so for profit, I put in $39. I took owner's comp, and it ends up being this percentage. So I added $458.25. I added $87.75 to the tax account. $321.75 went to the OpEx account. And the last piece was my mastermind amount, which was $68.25. For those who haven't been following me, mastermind is one of my most significant expenses, and it's something near and dear to my heart. So I have a separate bank account set up for this because that not only includes my my money that I owe to be part of the mastermind, but it's my group meets in person several times a year. And so I also set aside money for the travel costs to make sure that that's paid for as well. And so this is the money that I already have set aside to pay for that. So how this works, I've done my allocations. From last week, week 7 until this week, I had no money that I've spent. I had no bills that were due. And if you followed me, you'll know I write a check for my rent. I rent an office space, but everything else in my business is put on a credit card. And then I pay the credit card off every month when it's due. And that just hasn't been due. It wasn't due this last week. And then the only other outflow I have of cash is for payroll. And so it's not a payroll week, and so this is where I am with my money. So no transfers, no withdrawals. I only have my allocations from my income account to my other bank accounts. And that leaves me with these ending balances. And so you'll see on these graphs, because I think doing it week by week and you can see the snapshot, these numbers are only giving you the current week's numbers for money spent, transferred, or allocated between accounts. What I liked, I added this a couple weeks ago where I've added these graphs. So you can see now how I keep adding, add to my profit account. And so now this is where I am with my profit account. And now you're going to see in a couple of weeks when I do my profit allocation at the end of this month, you'll see this go down. It'll come down to here, and then we'll start building it back up again. Owner's comp, this goes up and down because it goes up, 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 and then I pay payroll, and then it goes up, and then I pay payroll. Okay. Tax account, this and profit work similarly, where it goes up, 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 and then I made a tax payment. So that's why this went down. I paid my tax, my estimated payment a little bit early. And then OpEx, this is always up and down, up and down, up and down, because this is just a function of timing of when allocations have gone in, money goes up, and then I constantly have payments that are being made. So this balance always goes up and down. My mastermind, this is a typical. This kind of works. It works on a faster timeline than my profit or tax, because so profit, tax, and mastermind always get money added every week, but profit and tax have money coming out only once every quarter. So that's why this built up and then dropped down. My mastermind, I do have monthly fees plus travel expenses that I pay out as I book travel. So I'm going to be, we're actually meeting at the end of this month, but I've already paid out. I had a book, I had the deposit for the hotel room, and I had to pay for my airfare. So I've already had some outlay of that. So my mastermind, you'll see it go up, 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 and then it'll come down as I pay the monthly dues and I pay my credit card statement for the travel expenses. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop a comment below and let me know. If you're interested in learning how to use Profit First in your business, let me know. I'm happy to help you.